Light on the first day, sun on the fourth. For 3 entire days, something illuminated the universe without a single star existing. The order seems inverted, even absurd. But if you look closely, every detail of the sequence reveals a precision that defies coincidence. This is the technical, theological, and physical story of the 7 days that shaped everything that exists. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. 9 words in English, 7 in Hebrew. And in those few syllables is contained the origin of everything: matter, energy, time, space. It all began at a point impossible to calculate, at a moment impossible to pinpoint by a command impossible to explain. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 is not poetry, it is a factual declaration. Before there was nothing, after there was everything. And God was the cause. The earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. The initial scene is not chaos, it is raw material awaiting processing. Basic elements exist, but structure does not yet. It is like having all the ingredients of a cake spread on the table. Flour, eggs, sugar, everything is there. But it is not yet a cake. It needs order, sequence, applied purpose. And then comes the first creative command. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. 3 words in Hebrew. Yehi or, Vayehi or. Let there be light. And there was light. There is no description of process. There is no explanation of mechanism. Only expressed will and reality altered instantaneously. Light emerges from an unrevealed source because the sun does not yet exist. The stars have not yet been made. But light floods the newly created universe, and God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. First division, first establishment of category. Light and darkness do not mix. They do not coexist in the same space simultaneously. They are mutually exclusive states. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. First act of naming. Establishment of language, concept, identity. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Observe the structure. Evening before morning. In the Hebrew system, the day begins at sunset. So the first day began with existing darkness. Then light was added, and the cycle was complete. But here is the technical enigma that has troubled scientists and theologians for millennia. How do you have evening and morning without planetary rotation? How do you have a 24-hour day without a sun to mark time? Some theories attempt to resolve this by saying the days of Genesis were not literal days, they were ages. Indefinite periods of time. Millions of years compressed into poetic metaphor. But the text resists that interpretation. The Hebrew word is yom, which can mean an indefinite period in some contexts. But when it appears with an ordinal number, as in first day, second day, it always means a literal 24-hour day throughout all scripture. And there is the repeated phrase, evening and morning, night and day, complete cycle. If Moses wanted to communicate a geological age, he had the vocabulary for it. He chose not to use it. He chose a literal day structure, so we are left with the problem. Light without sun, days without stars. How does this work? The most consistent answer is that God himself was the source of light, just as he was on Sinai when his glory illuminated the mountain, just as he was in the tabernacle, where his presence shone between the cherubim, just as he will be in the New Jerusalem, where there will be no need for sun or moon, because the glory of God will illuminate everything. The light of the first day was uncreated light. It was direct emanation from the nature of God, and that light established the rhythm, evening and morning, one day, second day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." The initial universe was covered with water. Water above, water below, water everywhere. And God created division. He made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. The Hebrew word for firmament is rakia, meaning something stretched out, beaten thin, like metal being hammered into a sheet. It describes sky atmosphere, space between terrestrial waters and atmospheric waters. And God called the firmament heaven. Second naming, establishment of habitable space, a zone where life could exist, a protective layer between surface and void, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Notice that here the phrase God saw that it was good does not appear. Every other section of creation ends with divine approval. Day 1 good, day 3 good, day 4 good, but day 2 has no seal. Why? Some commentators suggest that the work of the second day was not complete in itself. It was preparation for what came after, creation of space, but not yet the filling of that space. So approval would come later, when the total purpose was revealed. Others say the water above the firmament represents something that would later become problematic, the waters of the flood. But that is speculation. The text simply does not give the phrase, "And God saw that it was good on the second day." The third day has two distinct works, and God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. Formation of continents, separation of oceans, planetary geography established, and God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good, first approval, but it was not finished. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Second approval on the same day. Here is the second great paradox that torments scientific minds. Plants on the third day, sun on the fourth day. Photosynthesis requires sunlight. Sunlight requires a sun. But for 24 full hours, vegetation existed without a single star in the sky. How does this work biologically? The answer lies in the light of the first day, the uncreated light that God established before making the sun. That light was present, illuminating, energizing. The plants could perform photosynthesis using the primary light source. And when the sun was created on the fourth day, it simply took over the function that the glory of God had been performing. But there is another layer here. 24 hours of vegetation without sun does not kill plants. They survive nights much longer than that in polar regions. So even if the light of the first day were intermittent, one day without sun would be insufficient to destroy newly created plant life. And observe the command, "Let the earth bring forth," not "Let God create plants from nothing." The earth receives generative capacity. Soil receives the potential to generate life. Seeds contain all the genetic information necessary to reproduce after their kind, a repeated expression, after its kind, grass after its kind, tree after its kind, limits established. Variation within type, but not transformation between types. Dog produces dog, cat produces cat. Wheat produces wheat. The structure allows adaptation, but does not allow one species to become another fundamentally different one. And the evening and the morning were the third day, half the week complete. 3 days of preparation, light, atmosphere, dry land, vegetation. Now comes the filling phase. The next 3 days will correspond to the first 3. Day 1 had light. Day 4 will have luminaries. Day 2 had heavens and waters. Day 5 will have birds and fish. Day 3 had dry land. Day 6 will have land animals and man. Perfect symmetry, preparation followed by filling. Fourth day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also, sun, moon, stars, all on the fourth day. And here is a fascinating detail. The text avoids using the common Hebrew names for sun and moon. Why? Because Shemesh and Yariath, the normal Hebrew words, were also names of pagan deities worshipped by neighboring nations. Moses wanted not even a shadow of confusion, so he called them merely the greater light and the lesser light. They are not gods, they are created objects, tools placed in the sky with specific purpose, to rule the day, to rule the night, to mark seasons, to mark times. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the fourth day. The light that existed independently now has physical bearers. The function does not change. The source changes, and this has profound theological implication. God does not need means. He can illuminate the universe by direct will, but he chooses to create means, chooses to create a system where celestial bodies play a role, establishes natural order that operates according to laws. The stars are mentioned almost as an addendum. He made the stars also, 3 words in Hebrew, as if they were a minor detail, but each star is a gigantic nuclear furnace, some millions of times larger than the sun, some with mass equivalent to millions of suns, entire galaxies, hundreds of billions of stars each, created on that fourth day. And the text dedicates 3 words, because from the terrestrial perspective, which is the perspective of Genesis, stars are distant points of light. What matters is what they do for the earth. Mark navigation, mark seasons, mark times of planting and harvest. 5th day, and God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." And God created great whales, and every living creature that moves, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. First time the word created appears since verse 1. Everything until now was formed, separated, organized. But here it is new creation, animal life, consciousness, nephesh, living soul. Plants have biological life. They grow, reproduce, die. But they do not have nephesh. They do not have consciousness. Perception will. Animals do. And that requires a specific creative act. It is not merely reorganization of existing matter. It is the addition of something that did not exist before. Conscious life. And observe the order. Marine creatures first. Whales, fish, everything that lives in water. Then birds, creatures that occupy the heavens. Corresponding to the 2nd day, when heavens and seas were separated. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth." First blessing recorded. Command to reproduce. Generative capacity implanted. And the evening and the morning were the 5th day, 6th day, the climax, the crown of creation. But it does not begin with man. It begins with land animals. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. 3 categories. Cattle, domestic animals that would serve man. Beasts of the earth, wild animals, creeping things, creatures that crawl, each after its kind. Genetic code established, limits of variation defined. And again, the earth produces. Soil has the capacity to generate life when God commands. It is not gradual evolution over millions of years. It is instantaneous command and immediate fulfillment. And then comes the change in tone. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." For the first time, God speaks in the plural. Let us, not let me. Divine deliberation, consultation within the Trinity. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit agreeing to create a being radically different from everything that exists. A being that would carry the mark of divinity, in our image, after our likeness. Not physically. God is spirit. He does not have a body. But in capacity, reasoning, creativity, morality, language, relationship, capacity to choose, capacity to love, and above all, capacity for communion with God. Animals do not have this. Plants do not have it. Angels have it in a different way. But humans have it uniquely. They reflect the nature of God within a limited physical form, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. Mandate of dominion. It is not tyranny. It is stewardship, responsibility to manage God's creation, to tend, cultivate, administer resources, to represent the Creator's interests in creation. Vice-regency, delegated government, So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. 3 times the phrase is repeated, image of God, emphasizing the magnitude. And observe, male and female together compose the image. It is not only the man, it is not only the woman. It is complete humanity that reflects God. 2 distinct sexes, biologically different, but both equally bearers of the divine image. And God blessed them. Second blessing, and God said to them, "Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth." Command of reproduction, command of expansion, command of government. Humanity was not supposed to remain only in Eden. It was to spread across the entire planet, fill the earth, cultivate, develop, build civilization. And God said, "Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in which is the fruit of a tree-yielding seed. To you it shall be for food, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for food." And it was so. Original diet, vegetarian, both for humans and for animals. There was no death, there was no predation. Lion ate grass like the ox, wolf grazed with lamb. Creation was a world without violence, without bloodshed, without fear. This would change after the fall. After sin entered the world, death entered. Animals began to kill one another. Humans began to eat meat. Creation was corrupted, perverted from its original design. But in the beginning it was not so. In the beginning everything was peace. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. Not merely good, very good. Maximum approval. Creation complete, functioning perfectly, fulfilling purpose. And the evening and the morning were the 6th day. End of creative work. 6 days, 144 hours, from nothing to everything, from void to a thriving planet full of life. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them, 7th day. And on the 7th day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. God rested. Not because he was tired. Omnipotence does not tire. The creator of trillions of galaxies does not become exhausted. He rested because the work was complete. There was nothing more to create. Everything that needed to exist existed, and the rest established a pattern. 6 days of work, 1 day of rest, a rhythm that would be codified in the law of Moses centuries later. A rhythm your body still recognizes instinctively. The 7th day does not have the phrase "and the evening and the morning were." All the other 6 do. Day 1, evening and morning. Day 2, evening and morning. Through day 6. But the 7th day does not close. Because God's rest continues, he is no longer creating, he is sustaining what he created. Hebrews chapter 4 speaks about entering the rest of God, spiritual rest that is still available. The 7th day never ended in the theological sense, we are still in it, but there are questions that remain. Questions that skeptics have been asking for centuries. How do you fit dinosaurs into this chronology? How do you explain geological layers that appear to be millions of years old? How do you reconcile 6 literal days with scientific evidence of an ancient universe? Answers exist, some more convincing than others. The gap theory, which places an indefinite age between Genesis 1 verse 1 and verse 2. The day age theory, which interprets each day as millions of years. Young Earth creationism, which argues that the appearance of age was created instantaneously, that light from distant stars was created already in transit, that geological layers formed rapidly during a global flood. Each position has intelligent defenders. Each has challenges it needs to resolve. But all agree on the essential point. God created. It was not an accident. It was not a blind process. It was intentional design by an infinite mind. And that changes everything about how you understand reality. Because if you are the result of random processes extended over billions of years, then there is no inherent purpose, there is no objective meaning, there is no absolute morality. You are a lucky accident of chemistry that gained consciousness by sheer chance, and when you die, you will return to dust and be forgotten, meaningless existence between two voids. But if you were deliberately created by a God who made you in his image, then purpose is coded into every cell. Meaning permeates every breath. Value does not depend on human opinion, and death is not the end. It is a transition to an eternity that God prepared since before the foundation of the world. Genesis 1 is not merely about cosmology, it is about identity. Where you came from determines who you are, and if you came from God, then relationship with him is possible. Communion with him is natural. A returning to him is destiny. The 7 days reveal progression. Chaos becomes order, void becomes abundance, darkness becomes light. And at the summit of everything, a conscious creature emerges capable of knowing the Creator, capable of choosing to worship him or reject him, capable of loving because it was loved first. But there is a prophetic layer here that many do not perceive. The 6 days of creation mirror 6,000 years of human history. 1,000 years are as 1 day to God, Peter writes. And after the 6,000 years comes the millennium, the sabbatical rest of the earth when Christ will reign. 6 days of work, 1 day of rest. 6 millennia of history, 1 millennium of kingdom. Adam created approximately 4,000 years before Christ. Christ came 2,000 years ago, 6,000 years nearly complete, and the 7th millennium approaches. The pattern established in Genesis 1 was not merely about how the world began, it was a code for how history unfolds and how it will end. And observe the parallels. First creation began with light. New creation begins with the light of the world. First creation took 6 days. New creation takes 6 millennia. First creation ended with rest. New creation will end with a millennial kingdom of peace. The model never changed. Only the scale increased. So when you read about light on the first day and sun on the 4th, you are not merely learning ancient physics. You are discovering a prophetic pattern. When you read about plants before animals, you are not merely seeing biology. You are seeing progressive preparation. When you read about man created last, you are not merely seeing chronology. You are seeing that everything was prepared for you. 6 days, specific sequence, progressive preparation. Each stage depending on the previous one. Light before life, atmosphere before vegetation, sun before animals that need regulated heat, oceans before fish, dry land before terrestrial creatures. The order was not arbitrary, it was logic built in layers, and it ended with a creature who carried something that no atom, no star, no animal possessed. The image of God. You are not a cosmic accident. You are not an evolutionary coincidence. You are the result of meticulous planning that took 6 days of divine preparation. And when everything was ready, when every element was in place, God made you. Last work, crown of creation.